Hi viewers, hope you are fine. I still remember the day my parents chose my sister over me. Not because they said it directly, but because of what they did. My name is Emma, and for most of my life, I believed family was supposed to protect you. I believed parents were supposed to listen before they judged. I believed sisters were supposed to stand beside you, not destroy you. I was wrong. Growing up, my younger sister, Chloe, was the center of everything. She was charming, beautiful, and knew exactly how to make people love her, including my parents. Whenever something went wrong, somehow it became my fault. If Chloe broke something, I was blamed for not watching her. If she got into trouble at school, my parents said I should have been a better example. I spent years trying to earn the same love she received so effortlessly. But nothing was ever enough. Still, I loved my family. Even when it hurt, even when I felt invisible. Then one night changed everything. I was 23 and working hard to finish nursing school. I had dreams, plans. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was building something that belonged to me. Then Chloe accused me of stealing money from her. A lot of money. Money I had never even seen. I laughed when I first heard it because it sounded ridiculous. But nobody else was laughing. My parents looked at me as if they were staring at a stranger. "Tell us the truth, Emma," my father said. "I am telling the truth," I replied. But Chloe started crying, and that was all it took. The tears, the performance, the perfect act she had mastered her entire life. My mother wrapped her arms around Chloe while staring at me with disappointment. "How could you do this to your own sister?" she whispered. My heart shattered. I kept explaining. I kept begging them to believe me. But every word I spoke seemed to push them further away. Within days, they asked me to leave. Leave my own home. Leave my own family. I packed my belongings while my parents stood silently in the hallway. Nobody stopped me. Nobody hugged me. Nobody said they loved me. As I carried my final box to my car, I looked back one last time. Chloe was standing beside them, watching, smiling, a tiny smile that told me everything. She knew exactly what she had done. And she enjoyed it. That was the day I lost my family. But what I didn't know that day was that 5 years later, fate would bring us together again. And the place where it happened would be an emergency room. Conflict and betrayal. The next 5 years were the hardest years of my life. I had no family, no support, no one to call when life became overwhelming. There were nights I cried myself to sleep in a tiny apartment because I couldn't understand how the people who raised me could abandon me so easily. But pain can either destroy you or transform you. I chose transformation. I worked every shift I could find. I studied harder than ever. Eventually, I became a registered nurse at one of the busiest hospitals in the city. For the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. Not because someone approved of me, but because I had survived. Alone. Slowly, life became peaceful. The memories still hurt, but the wounds began to heal. Then one rainy Thursday night, everything changed. I was halfway through a long shift when the ambulance doors burst open. Paramedics rushed inside with a woman on a stretcher. Severe internal bleeding. One of them shouted. The emergency room immediately exploded into motion. Doctors ran. Machines beeped. Nurses moved quickly around the patient. I stepped closer to help. Then I froze. It was Chloe, my sister. My breath caught in my throat. 5 years. 5 years without seeing her. And suddenly she was lying in front of me, unconscious. Pale, fragile, broken. For a moment, every painful memory rushed back. The accusations, the betrayal, the loneliness, the day they threw me away. I should have felt satisfaction. Maybe even revenge. But instead, I felt sadness. Because despite everything, she was still my sister. Then I looked up, and saw my parents standing nearby. Terrified. My mother looked older. My father looked exhausted. The confidence they once carried was gone. When they recognized me, their faces turned white. For several seconds, nobody spoke. The silence felt endless. Finally, my mother whispered my name. Emma. I hadn't heard her say my name in 5 years. I didn't know how to respond. So I simply nodded and continued working. Because Chloe needed help. And at that moment, her life mattered more than my pain. Hours passed. The doctors fought to stabilize her condition. My parents sat in the waiting room, terrified. I avoided them, but fate wasn't finished. Near midnight, my father approached me. His hands were shaking. "Emma," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something." I looked at him, and for the first time in my life, I saw guilt, real guilt. His eyes filled with tears. Then he revealed a truth that changed everything. 3 months earlier, Chloe had finally confessed. She admitted she had never been robbed. She admitted she had lied. She admitted she framed me because she was jealous. Jealous of my success. Jealous of the attention I received when I entered nursing school. Jealous of the future I was building. My father broke down as he spoke. "We destroyed your life because we believed her." I couldn't breathe. 5 years. 5 years stolen from me because of one lie. Ending, revenge, climax and moral. The next morning, Chloe finally woke up. The surgery had saved her life. The doctors were optimistic. When she opened her eyes and saw me standing nearby, she immediately started crying. Not dramatic tears, not manipulative tears, real tears, the kind that come from regret. "Emma," she whispered. I stayed silent. She looked away in shame. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." For once, she wasn't pretending. For once, she was honest. My parents entered the room moments later. My mother broke down completely. She wrapped her arms around me and sobbed. "I am so sorry." Years of pain crashed into me all at once. The little girl who spent her childhood begging to be loved. The young woman who packed her belongings alone. The daughter who cried herself to sleep after being abandoned. She was still inside me. Still hurting. Still waiting for someone to choose her. My parents apologized over and over. But no apology could return the years we lost. No apology could erase the loneliness. No apology could rewrite the past. Yet something surprising happened. I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Life had already given me justice. While they spent years believing a lie, I spent those same years building a future. I became strong, independent, successful, everything they once doubted I could be. And now they saw the truth. Not because I forced them. Because reality exposed it. That was the real revenge. Not humiliation. Not punishment. Truth. Months later, Chloe continued therapy and worked hard to rebuild her life. My relationship with my parents slowly improved. It wasn't perfect. Some wounds leave scars forever. But healing became possible. One evening, my father asked a question that stayed with me. "How did you survive all those years alone?" I smiled softly. Because I stopped waiting for other people to believe in me. The room fell silent, and for the first time, I felt peace. If this story taught me anything, it's that betrayal can break your heart, but it doesn't have to break your future. Sometimes the people who reject you are wrong. Sometimes the truth takes years to arrive. But eventually, it arrives. And when it does, you won't need revenge. Because the life you built despite the pain becomes the greatest proof of who you really are. And that's exactly what happened to me. Heart.